Looks like it's working though.
I haven't seen any changes
Featured.
on the back end here, so it should be good.
Yeah, seems okay. I
Must be
posted it to
me.
the.
It
Oh
must be
no,
me.
I'm getting that same message. Waiting for live signal. Live video has ended. Huh. Let me see. Yeah, it says it's ended. I'm gonna try it again. Let's try it again. Why not? Right? Um, what's worse could happen? Preparing live stream. This has never happened to me before. I've done this a lot of times too.
Now they might have just changed some back end API stuff.
Yeah,
Crap.
yeah. You know how it is. Those guys. They're always fiddling with stuff on the back end. They're back end fiddlers, is what I call them. All right, here we go. I think this one might work now. Talk amongst yourselves. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we've got it now. I think we've got it. All
Thanks,
right.
Mark.
Well, hey, let's uh let's just go ahead and start. And if I've got to mess around with it, I will later. But thanks for joining us, guys. Got a good group here already. So thanks for joining us. Hope you're having a great week so far. Man, we're like almost to Friday already. So that's if that means anything. I don't know what. If you own a business, like all the days are pretty much the same. But yeah, just good to be here. Good to be here. Today I know what I was thinking about is competition. Who's your competition? And what do you think about that? What do you think about that? How do you deal with that? Um, do you have somebody who you see as your competitor? How does that make you feel? Does it affect the way that you do things?
What was the question? I was on the phone.
Competition.
Hmm.
Truthfully, I try and help them collaborate.
Yeah? Tell me about it.
Yeah,
Tell me about it. Look, I
yeah.
like where you're going with
No,
this.
I like to collaborate with them.
Yeah?
It started even when I started up my business. I reached out to Keith. Keith really helped get my business off the ground. Not that we're competitors, we're thousands of miles apart, but even still, I like to think that he helped me grow. I want to help other people grow. And by collaborating, we're elevating this rather than it being a race to the bottom. Like even just before we went live, we were kind of talking about, you know, when the market's soft, everyone's driving the prices down. And there's no point doing that. So why not collaborate, work together, and make it a healthy and prosperous industry for everyone? So I'd rather collaborate and if I'm busy in one thing, I'd rather share the workload with someone else who can use it, partner, work back and forth, and rather than it being this cutthroat thing. So that's my 2 cents. Someone else can run with it for a while.
Yeah, I
Let's hear what else. Who else wants to talk about it?
See, for me, you guys are so far away. You guys don't bother me. But if I had somebody next to me that I was a competitor with, it'd be a little different because I know some of them, they really are undercut me. I mean, I get guys that, hundreds of dollars, sometimes even $1,000 underbid me. And I'm like, dude, and then the customer has, hey, can you match it? I'm like, dude, come on.
It's like that here
yeah,
too.
right.
Don't get
No,
me wrong.
I
It
can't,
is like that
and I
here.
can't stand them.
I just don't
It's
want to play that game.
yeah.
no,
I'd rather
me
just
and
be
me and Ryan were
separate.
talking about that today.
Yeah, I just don't
I
want
w-
to do.
I was
So-
asking Ryan, like I was kind of down in the dumps today because I feel like I kept losing shower bids recently, and to like the lower bidders, and I was talking to Ryan, and he actually bid the same job, and we were pretty much same price point, but they ultimately went with much lower bid, and it's just difficult sometimes. But I guess there's nothing we can really do, you know. But it was nice to talk to Ryan to see what he thought about it. And we're in the same. We're 25 minutes away. Like but I don't see him as a competitor. Like we're starting to build a relationship, which is awesome. I think I don't see it as anything negative.
You can only value engineer a product so far until it's just not worth doing it anymore. So that's at some point you just got to walk away, right? Then it becomes a race to the bottom, and that's just what, for me, I'm not interested in. So,
Right. Yeah, I know you just asked that first question. I was gonna ask if you guys do you guys kind of have like a sales process when you're talking to customers, or do you just kind of, give them the information, kind of consult with them, and then just give them a quote, or do you kind of strategically walk them through something, or do you even have the time to do that?
So you're asking, do we have a system for making sales?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, a
Coming from like
standard
a
operating
business,
procedure or some kind of a system.
yeah,
Pretty much, you got to sell them a story. Sell them, like pictures. So I have an iPad I have pictures of that, that in the first 3, 4, 5 pictures, I have my main ones I want to sell. And then, and then I just, most of the time when people, you go to people's houses, they want your opinion more than they want, care about theirs.
right.
The only thing you got to do is match the colors. That's all they, the car hardware. That's what the only thing they want, and low maintenance. Yeah, I mean, I'll go through all the steps, like as far as selling what types of glass there is. There's not very much glass choices except for clear, Starfire, and rain glass and satin etch. There's not very much, so that makes it easy.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, people don't want nothing like that. They want clear because they want to see their tile. They want to see their shower.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just go in there and I just try to sell them. I start low and then I show them all, and then what I do is I have 2 pieces of samples of Starfire and clear glass, and usually when you show them the difference, most of the time the people will want the Starfire, and they want once you show the difference, I mean you have it sold pretty much right there, and then yeah, it's just you just gotta find something that works for you. Like I go in there and it's like my customers, I try to make them feel like I know them for years. Like it's not just like a business. It's like, hey, you call, you got their name, and then you just be friendly with them, and then you just sell it. Just that's what I do.
Right.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, it just depends. You got to feel either you're dealing with a Karen or you're dealing with a not. It all depends.
I could touch base on both. Competition, I've looked at it for years in kind of a single way. There's folks in town that we have good relationships with that do good quality work. They're going to stand behind their stuff. I wouldn't say we collaborate with them, but we're gonna support them if they have a need. They're going to support us if they have a need, if we have a need. But we don't also look at them as competition per se, because it's a numbers game, right? So if you know your numbers, you have to do work at a certain margin to make sense. That margin can move a little bit, but you can't move it drastically, or you're gonna start digging a hole. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about competition, you have to know your value of your product and what margin you have to support. If you have 1 crew or you have 10 crews. So I don't look at it as a pricing competition very much at all. Because if you get in a pricing competition, you're playing the game you're talking about. You're, low man, seeing who can be the low man on the totem pole, and that's a great way to go out of business pretty quickly. So, competition. I as a former athlete, I love competition, but I truly try to take the emotional portion out of it and go, it's got to be numbers based. If we're not hitting our numbers, then I've got to move on to the next thing. And if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, giving good quality work to my customers, there's going to be the next job. And we'll let somebody work for margins that don't make sense. But as far as process, I'd be a little bit different than Adrian. We have a very kind of detailed process because we're doing a lot of sell before, visiting the job site. So we have a very kind of straightforward but detailed SOP on here's the step, here's how you interact, here's the thing 1, thing 2, thing 3 that you're going through with the customer, so that we can also repeat it. So if we teach somebody new, we can give them a kind of a playbook to go by. Because it is a very, very good skill to be able to walk in a space and sell something to someone. But what if you want to sell to someone before walking in a space? It has to be very clear on the steps to take to do that. So yeah, we definitely have a procedurally based step 1, step 2, step 3, and then you can kind of veer off of that depending on how much knowledge you have. But if you're new to the game, you've got to have direct guidelines on how to price stuff. And I don't know about you guys, but if you hire someone, or even if it's yourself, you want to be valuable pretty quickly, or hire someone and make them valuable pretty quickly. You don't want somebody in your building who can't sell something because they don't have a procedure on how to sell it, because then you're just, money's just going out the window. So yeah, it is definitely an SOP on how to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more, Billy, if you don't mind, about your particular you got kind of a unique process for selling shower doors. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I don't know. Forgive me. I don't know how often it's talked about these days, but we use follow-ups. We use a CRM as our main point of sale. So, it makes a lot of people nervous to do the process how we do it. But, I would say that we're all in the same boat, that 80+% of what you sell is the same thing over and over and over. Right. So you should have a pretty clear idea of, what your cost is, what your margins need to be, what your labor is going to be. And if you don't, then, probably suggest to figure that out pretty quickly. But if you do something even 10 times, you got a pretty good idea of what it's going to be, depending on a few factors. Now, there's always some things that can come into play that can vary that, but you build those into your pricing procedure. So it's I don't know if it's even considered new school at this point. It's just a different way of approaching it, where, tire kickers, we don't have time. I don't have time. My guys don't have time for folks that just don't know what things cost. And that's okay. You're going to have customers that don't know what things cost.
Right.
I need to move through those customers as quickly as possible, and figure out, okay, now that you know what it costs, is this a budget doable item for you?
Right.
And I think you guys know that you can quickly also figure out your customers that budget is not the consideration. It's what do we know? What do they want? And can we provide it? So, I could get super deep into it. I mean, we've been doing it for a pretty good while now, and I've worked with quite a few inside salespeople that do this for us. But we do inside sales for shower doors, which not a lot of people do. So that kind of sounds foreign to some folks, but it works well for us. So, I see Rob in the background.
Yeah, he's cheering.
Rob knows well. We work with Rob, and have for years, and it's like, it's just normal to us, where it's not relatively normal to the industry or to other folks when I talk to them, but it's become our norm. So, like I said, I don't want to take up a bunch of time, but if you want to talk deeper about it, anybody could reach out to me about it.
So, quick question on your inside guys: is that mainly for like people that call in that are just answering like, hey, they're looking for a quick quote or something like that, or are they like making cold calls or following up with like contractors, or what exactly are they doing?
So it's mostly people reaching out to us. So I will say that I have the benefit of having a really old business relative to our industry. So our reputation is what drives most of that. Now, we market, we advertise, we do those things, but we don't do a ton of it. It's really repeat service, but it is call in customers, text in customers, email customers. They're all funneled into one specific way of how we do things. Now, every once in a while, there's an outlier, somebody who isn't computer savvy or something like that. And then we'll work around that, but it still has to kind of fit into our our standard procedure, because if it's a drastic outlier, it throws us off and takes too much time. So it's got to be relative to our procedure. So, but yeah, it's calling customers. Now we have customers who are repeat, contractors, stuff like that. The function's a little bit different for them. They're getting a more intimate interaction. I've mentioned that before. When somebody spends $100,000 a year with us, they're not getting just text, back and forth and that kind of thing. They're going to get a direct contact. But yeah, if it's somebody who's new, we want to quickly figure out, what direction we're going in, and are they for us and we for them. So.
Got it.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think Billy's actually mentioned it specifically yet, but their business model is that they sell before they even go out to measure. Isn't that right, Billy? I mean, you guys collect the first 50% or something before you even go to the job site.
Yeah. So I've had the benefit of being in the industry. I wouldn't consider myself an old head at this point, right? But I've been in the industry for about 20 years, and I quickly, early on, figured out that time wasted is money wasted, and it's like the one biggest frustration in my world early on in my career. So I wanted to figure out how to address that and eliminate that as quickly as possible. It's not 100%, but we're probably 95+% that's the way we handle the process, and people seem to really enjoy it. It's pretty streamlined. It eliminates a lot of the back and forth time wasted on both ends, not just us. Customers like it too.
Customers like. You're doing something that a lot of people would say, "Oh, you can't possibly do that."
I've heard it many times.
Right.
I've heard it many times.
But what I'm hearing you say is like, not only can you do it, but customers like it.
Yeah.
And to me, this is the essence of innovation, in systems, of you've always heard that thing of like thinking outside the box, that phrase, thinking outside the box, but it's like, you got to know like what the box is, and how to operate in the box, right? Before you even know whether you're in it or out of it, And then now Billy's got this system where it's like people are reaching out to him for a quote. He's saying, well, I can tell you exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be this much money. Give me half of it and we'll come and get started, and people are like, awesome. So it's
how does that process? How does your process work? Are they calling it in and then going through your inside people, or is it like is there a form that they would fill out, or like online, or how are you gathering the information because we've tried that, not necessarily going up front and it's more like, say for instance, we have a pretty large area that we cover. About an hour and a half is kind of like our max, hour and 45 minutes from the shop. And so definitely the ones that are kind of the outliers is we want to gather as much information as possible and not get those tire kickers and roll up front with them like, hey, if you're okay with this price, then we can kind of start the process. But what does that look like for you guys as far as like, because that's a big step. That's awesome. I like it.
Yeah. And I don't want to be. I just came to visit tonight, so I used to be on these quite a bit. But,
it's been too long.
You need to visit more often, man.
Now you're on, dude.
I don't want to take up all the time. So I can get deep into how we've built process, reconfigured process, tweaked process. A lot of it, dude, and I'm sorry I don't know your first name, but a lot of it is kind of rip the Band-Aid off and go for it. And this is what we're going to do. So the process, and like I said, if you want to get deep into it, I'd rather have like a one-on-one conversation and really kind of work through it. Rob may be as good at working through it as I am. You guys have heard Rob before, but it's about knowing product and then knowing prices. If you know your numbers, then it's not hard to give somebody numbers on something. And if something's an hour and a half away, well, then you build in whatever the ad is for that hour and a half, or 30 minutes or an hour or whatever it is. But that's about having a process for it. So knowing rule-based process on pricing. And like I said, it's not like you're pricing in the world of showers. You're not pricing, 1,000 different showers a week. You're likely pricing the same 100 showers and 5 outliers. So I would think that if you're not super green and new to the game, you are able to, put a number on a shower that's relative. It's just having confidence that you know what that number is supposed to be. And I think that's where a lot of people get hung up is it's the what ifs and the question marks and the $20 bills that they're getting caught up on. Where I'm going, I know it's going to be about this. The 20 doesn't matter to me because I move faster and do 10 other prices in the time it takes somebody to do one.
Yeah,
So-
you're making up that 20 in 5, 6, 10 bids, or deposits, essentially deposits at that point. So you're definitely justifying the quantity to make up that little bit. So yeah, no, I was just curious because we've tried even just people in town just to get them a little bit closer to like, hey, what exactly are you looking for to narrow down? And sometimes, people on the other line, the customer calling in, they get a little bogged down. Like, well, can't you just come out and look at it? I'm like, well, yeah, I can, but I'd like to get a little bit more feedback. That way I kind of know what I'm going into, and then kind of without being, blunt about it, be like, well, yeah, I just don't want to waste my time. I just want to let me know exactly what you're looking for, and then I can kind of get you, that ballpark price. So that, but yeah, it's like you were saying, is kind of taking the step, like, hey, no, this is how we're gonna do it, and then just sticking with it. I think that's a huge thing.
Yeah, and I don't mean this in a rude way, but be clear, it's not a ballpark price. Like we've got the numbers down well enough where we're going to give you, unless you are taking a picture of something that's different from the shower we're going to do, we're going to give you options because that's part of the process. We've built out imagery, we've built out verbiage, we've built out templates, we've built all this stuff out where it's not that we're guessing. We're going to give you options, and if you choose option A, here's what your price is going to be. And we're confident in that because we've done it at this point, I don't know, 10, 20,000 times.
Right.
But doing it early on is a little scary. Yeah, it's definitely scary. I drove to every shower quote, and we drive about an hour and a half away from us as well. So I drove to every one. If you called in and you were interested, on the road I was going all through my 20s. And it just didn't make sense over time as we got better and volume went up for me to waste any time. So I started early on doing it through email. Back early on, I was like, hey, shoot me a picture, especially if they were far away. So that's where it really got it going. If this is going to take me more than like 30 minutes to drive to, hey, take a picture of it and send it to me. Let me take a look at it. If it falls in within the 80%, I'll give you option A, B, and C. You tell me what you want to do. I'll tell you what it's going to cost. And then they always go, well, you got to measure it. You don't trust my measurements. I'll measure it. Don't worry. But that's our process. And it became norm for us, and it's still not norm in our area. It's not norm in our industry. And that's okay. There's still people who are better at what we do than I am that tell me that I don't know, I'm wrong and you can't do it that way. I know what works for us, and it's something that works well, so it's kind of making a choice if you want to dive into that pool head first or not. And if you do, then you do it. But it takes a lot of legwork on the front end to build out the processes and those kind of things. The first person that I had doing this, go back quite a few years ago now, the first person I had do it had never touched any glass in their life and knew nothing about it. So I had to build out a very, very straight guideline process, templates, how to talk to people. If you don't know how to talk to people, use this template, that template. I had to build all that out early on. So it took a lot of legwork, but to me, it was worth it because I can still handle all the relationships, the contractors, the people who are repeat business, and these onesie twosie customers who do matter. You can make really good margins on those jobs. Those are really important, but we're not necessarily fighting the dollar on those jobs. So that's another key factor, is having a good balance on relationships versus your customer that's going to get one shower from you and you may never see him again in your life. So it's building that out so that you do, still have a little backup if you're pricing out to, lovely homeowner that's doing a new build and they're doing all their stuff themselves. They're, if you get that job, awesome, but you got to get it at a certain number. So having that backup of a contractor relationship matters as well. But yeah, I did this with somebody who had never priced their first shower, never cut their first piece of 16th inch glass, never sanded a mirror, never done anything. And we built it out and sold a lot of stuff with that person. So
Wow.
it's quite doable, but it takes some time and legwork. I was building out templates and doing all that stuff while I was sitting here on these calls years ago to try to set that person up for success. So yeah.
No, I have a contractor that called.
Answer your question, I hope.
I had a contractor called. He had 4 showers, so he sent us pictures and filled in all the blanks. And I looked at it and called him back. And he just wanted regular glass. And I said, "You need Starfire," and he goes, "Okay." So I said, "I was Starfire." And we get people that send in pictures, and it seems to work,
Not in my area. Sometimes people, I think they're lazy. They don't want to. So I'm like Cameron, man. They
They
don't
all
want
got
to.
a cell phone in their hand.
I feel like they. Sometimes I think that offends them a little bit because you can tell on their face, like we're lazy. We don't want to go do it.
No,
Like,
that's kind of what I was getting. Is I've tried to get because we all get bogged down with having to, because that's how I kind of structure mine is like in the morning until about 11, 12 is crunch time. Get all the quotes out from the day before and just go make sure all the fires are put out before I leave at 12 for my appointments, and then it's back to the grind again the following day. So it's like been trying to figure out how to streamline that process and then weed out some of the tire kickers or the price droppers. And because there's one company that's in town that they've got kind of all the builders and stuff locked down because they make their own extrusions and so as far as like semi-frameless stuff and frame stuff, they pretty much blow me out of the water most of the time. I would say about 75% of the time.
Is it the company whose hat you're wearing?
No, these guys actually came in yesterday and were,
Don's Mobile Pass, is it?
Yeah,
because I know those guys do everything you just described.
Yeah, and I actually talked to those guys about it yesterday. Because they have a new GM and everything, and he's like, no, we're pretty competitive. We want to stay competitive with
Is it Infinity Glass?
No, Fresno shower door.
Oh,
Fresno shower door, huh?
Yeah, so they've been in the game for quite a while. They were probably one of the first in Fresno and one of the main ones in Fresno for a long, long time. And they make all their own stuff, and everything is exclusive to them. And so I just, it's like whatever. But that's what I mean is like trying to I can price out like something from these guys, 1050 for tub slider that's like the cheap one, and they can come in at 650 basically installed for basically the similar stuff. It's a lot cheaper stuff, but
the quality's not the same though, dude. I know who you're talking about. Their quality shoulders suck, dude.
And it's exactly, and that's the thing. And I mean the customer doesn't see that because they just see, oh no, it's the it's glass, it's the same thickness and whatever. But I'm like, well, there's a little bit different,
Yeah.
And so it's just trying to wean that part of it out because we have quite a bit of it. And then I was like thinking about, maybe putting down as far as like getting appointments, like most of them they'll charge $50 just to go out and show up. And then they'll put that towards, the cost of the shower. But it's like implementing that is just tough for me. I don't know, just because
it's not hard. I mean, you just got to get over it. We do the same thing. Truck doesn't roll until a 25% deposit hits the bank.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it that way for all our retail customers for the last year and a half.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah, like our contractors, that's a different story. They just call in, we just go. But if it's retail, our girls in the office handle everything. Send all the quotes. They just quote it through Smart Glazer, whatever. They build all the shower configurations. They deal direct. I don't see the thing until there's a deposit and a work order done. Then I go out and measure. I take out the FlexiJet, measure it. And if there's anything that needs to be revised, it's revised once I'm on site.
Uh-huh.
And then we can talk about a revision then, but I already have what option they chose, deposits in the bank, and we don't veer from that. But
Right.
they've already sent the pictures in because they've already done a form submission or whatever through email or taking pictures. And I mean, God forbid they can use a tape measure to some degree, or you count the tiles in the
Yeah.
bathroom
Yeah.
stall and you figure it out. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, and that's the thing, and I've gotten pretty good as far as pushing that more. Like, hey, just send the info. Like, just picture. It doesn't have to be exact. If you can just throw a yardstick on there, something, whatever you've got, just to give me just a basic, and I can get you a pretty close price on everything.
yeah,
But yeah, it's tough because like we're talking Adrian too. Is we get a lot of people that are just like they don't want to do nothing. Just no. How about you just come out? Or they'll just give me like, oh yeah, it's just the door. I'm like, okay, well, is
Freaking
it
Californians, dude.
just the door, or is it like door and side panel? Then you go and it's a big ass steam shower, So it's
yeah. The girls, when they call, like they call our girls that answer the phone or deal with them by email,
Yeah.
they'll send them pictures or direct them to the website. Which one does it look like then? Or
yeah,
or just drag out send a damn picture.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
we'll figure it out, right? Then that way you're not bogged down. And then they have multiple balls in the air so they can handle multiple quotes at a time. So you're not wasting your time and you're not starting the truck driving all over God's creation, wasting
Mhm.
measuring
Yeah,
shit
dude,
that
it's
you
like
may
it's
not
crazy.
get anyway because you're quoting 1050 and someone's doing it for 650 anyway.
Yeah,
And you just save your time and effort. So
yeah.
rip the band-aid off.
I wish it was that easy, man.
Come on, Adrian, we can do it.
It is. It is. Do it.
I wish it was
Join
that
us on the
easy.
dark side.
It is that easy, Adrian. It is that
See?
easy.
See, it's
You
that
guys
easy.
don't live in California, man. It's different, man.
Hey, you're damn right I don't live in California.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by GlassGadget.com. Showcase Innovations creates tools that help shower door installers be more efficient and save time. Check out GlassGadget.com for more information.
California people came to Austin, and they definitely California'd our Austin, and that's the people I had to transition to. I was lucky. We were gifted with
So you understand the pain.
COVID was the curse that was a gift because it forced us to shut down or keep selling, and I chose to not shut down, and we kept selling virtually because it was forced. So the process we were trying to get them to do was now the only option they had besides us coming to their home with masks. So it was very easy for me to now convert the people that were like, "What do you mean?" And when it went back to normal, where now they want you to come, it's like, no problem. Instead of forcing them, when it was COVID, it's very easy. There's people out the door, leads were coming in. We had no problem with business. So you can tell people exactly how the hell they're going to do business with you, or they can go somewhere else. But when the leads dry up and now everything's gone and you're chasing down leads, the people that want you to visit, all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, our process all of a sudden changed. Your attitude changes real quick of how they're going to do it your way. And you're like, wait, how did you want me to do it again? I'll drive wherever you need. Like the tone changed. Luckily, we didn't have to pivot too much because we were always like trying to virtually meet them wherever they're at. If you're coming in as a California techie and you want to send us a quote, get a text, have us come measure, never actually walk out of your office to see us, and then get the quote invoiced and installed, and you would have preferred if you never actually saw our faces, all text is cool. You actually can't even talk to people. Fine, we'll give you that route. But if you're Gladys, who's been a 30-year customer, and you want us to come over, fantastic. But I'm going to let you know, Gladys, if you want a faster quote, all you got to do is send me a text or a picture. You got a picture of your grandson. You did FaceTime with him earlier. You're not incapable. I know this. They don't want to do your job either. So that's real when they're like, you want me to do your job? Heard that 100 times. But it's like, no, not at all. I want to give you better service. If you want a faster quote, I can get out there next Tuesday. But if you want a faster, accurate, on the ball within $2 quote, send me a picture over. I'll know the rough size. How many door and panels have I done? How many 90s have I done? And when I plug it in, if that door was 32 with the 12, 24 notch and 80 high and then 42 back, and I quote it on my calculator and I get there and it's actually 48 back or something that's not too bad that doesn't cause a heavier glass, what's my price difference? You might get mad at the idea, but when you look at it in the calculator, $32, I would have changed it from having to drive over there. Would I have paid that? I'm paying $112 per converted lead. I'm talking about spending $2,000 on this new ad campaign or this sponsoring thing, but I won't spend like give up $22 or $40 margin to give someone a quote that they're going to say hell yeah to, because my branding, my reputation, everything I've done in the community, they're sold on me already. If they just get the price, they don't care I'm higher. They don't care that Apple is higher. They're sold on Apple's brand. They want the brand. Are you that brand? Because then your price doesn't matter as much because you're not going to be the cheapest. I fucking hope. You shouldn't be. You got a problem. You shouldn't be in this group if you are. But you should be
We'll
price
teach you. We'll teach you.
for your service. You pay Apple for their
That's right.
quality. That's what you pay them for. That's what they're paying you for. What are you going to deliver around that price?
Well said, man. That's it. That's it. It's like you want to be. I mean, I hear people say, oh, people won't do this. People don't, people don't pay this. People don't like that. Whatever. It's like maybe you're marketing to the wrong people.
Know your customer.
Yeah, right. I mean, who do you want? Who do you want to be your customer? Because it's like the truth is you don't have to do business with everybody who comes along. I mean, I know it's insane. It's an insane sounding thing when you first hear it. What, you mean it's like I don't have to do business with everybody who comes through my door? No. You don't have to do business with everyone who comes through your door. You can decide who you want to do business with. And and the truth is, it's easier to do business with people who have more money. There's this meme. I don't know if you've ever seen the meme about $500 customer. Hey, I want you to know how important this is to me, and I need your assurance that you're going to take care of this because, everything's riding on this deal. $50,000 customer. Money sent. Thank you. And that is real life, man. The people who are sweating over $100, dude, you're not going to make them happy. But the people who have like thousands of dollars to spend, and it's like, it's no big deal, those people are stoked. Especially when you show up, return their calls, you're polite, you send guys out there clean, got a good attitude, and work hard, and go the extra mile, and leave the place clean, man. Those people are, they're having to deal with all the same people all of us have to deal with every day. Because not every industry has somebody who's awesome to send out. PG&E, like the power company doesn't have someone like that. The internet company doesn't have somebody like that. Most of the people that they're coming out to do work on their house suck. And then there's a few trades or crafts that really come out and really, go the extra mile. And those people, in my experience, those affluent people love people like that and will pay extra. Not only that, they'll tell all their rich friends about you. And it's just a matter of mindset. It really is. It's just a matter of making up your mind. Hey, that's the guy I want to be, and those are the customers I want to have. It's like, who do you want to be a hero to? You want to be a hero to everybody? Well, you really can't, because there's not enough of you to go around. So it's like, you want to be a hero to the people who whether the economy goes up or the economy goes down, they're making money either way. That's who you want for a customer. And then because when the economy crashes and everybody's whining and crying and everything, these guys are making money. They're still remodeling. They're still adding shower doors. You want to have them for a customer, not the guys who are dying, because then you're dying, right? Think about it.
No, 100%.
Yep.
We found how many guys here like to work for no money. I mean, I'm not a fan. So a few years ago when we enacted a consultation fee for customers, people in my own building were freaking out. People in my own building still freak out about it. But I go, okay, we know how to do what we do and know how to do it well. So if we're going to go give our knowledge, which knowledge to me is valuable, it has a money tie. If you're going to give your time and your knowledge, how does that not worth something? I learned this early on in the commercial glass world, where you waste a lot of your time bidding and pricing and you may not get any money for it. And I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world, kind of still do. But I was like, okay, if I can respond to you, first of all, just respond. But if I can respond to you and then get you a quote that's accurate faster than you'll even hear back or get a answered phone call from somebody else, how am I not the one who really knows what they're doing? Right? Not sending me a price as fast as weird. Like how do they know what they're doing? They're putting a price on this right now. No, I'm gonna have you a price and respond to you and have you a quote and be ready for you to give me a deposit and schedule your on-site for measure and then have your shower measured, likely, and ordered before you even hear back from somebody else on when they want to come out and take a look at your shower. So it's not so much just like, I want to, and I've been big on this, Chris can back me up, legitimizing what we do and how skilled you have to be, how much you have to know what you're doing. Our trade is one of the, if not the most sensitive, you're worth money. You're worth good money. Mm-hmm. The dude who thinks he's not in our industry, he will eventually work himself out of a job, guaranteed. So believe in that, believe in that process. If somebody, like Chris said, if somebody doesn't want to go into our process, that's cool. You can go one of two directions. You can go get somebody else to do your work, which, okay, I believe that we're still going to have another customer, or you can pay me for my time and I'll do it your way, but you'll pay for that until you decide you want a shower from us. And then I'll put that in with the price of the shower. No big deal. But we're not going to take a risk on our time and our knowledge. I'm not going to come out and design your shower 5 different ways for an hour and tell you all the good and bad about your shower for nothing. That doesn't make sense to me. And I know that sounds crazy to some, but it makes sense once you do it, but it's a lot of Band-Aid ripping off and just going for it, So, but knowing your customer is a big thing. I tell our young sales folks that are like, they want to sell every single thing. I'm like, listen, some folks just are not for us. If they're throwing up red flags before you even sell them anything, stop trying to sell them something, because they're going to throw up bigger red flags on the back end. So knowing your customer. So Cameron, you're talking about, there's somebody in town who can hammer you on semi-framed, stick stall, if you go back a long time ago, that kind of stuff. Stop selling to them, dude. Don't sell that. If that's what that customer wants, that's not your customer.
Yeah,
you want to do frameless sliders or door and panels or 90s with knee walls. You want to do glass headers, whatever. Know your customer and quickly move past those people that they want something that, if you're going to get beat and you're in an area, a larger, metro area or something where somebody can manufacture, it's going to be hard to compete with them. Don't compete with them.
Yeah.
Find out what you're at and narrow that down quick and just move.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the biggest thing is then we've got the gal that's handling all the phone calls. She does pretty much all that stuff. And I've kind of gotten her almost there, but that's the biggest thing is trying to get her to ask more questions, get more information, and kind of get her up to speed. Because she completely green. She's been with us, I think, about 6 months. She's definitely come a long way from when she started, but didn't have any type of construction background at all. And so it's been definitely a big learning curve for her, but she's getting it. But yeah, that's my biggest thing. to exactly to your point is finding that particular customer that is because it is literally if they're already gonna start nickel and diming me for this, that, and the other, it's honestly I'm not interested. I mean,
And I'll tell you that we were selling showers with a greenhorn in the first week. It's all about building out that process so they feel comfortable with. Cameron said it's okay if I sell this, if I see this. And I guarantee you, I could get deeply. I could sit down with you and do it if you were a little closer. But it is all about building out that process and start with something easy. If they're seeing 5 foot, that's what we all want, right? 5 foot opening. We know what's going in there. You should know your numbers on that, in and out for each style, each option, each finish, each, glass option, all those things. Give her 3 options to play with that make sure the prices are covered. And if she's throwing a price back to somebody within, 2 minutes of them reaching out to you, how likely are you to sell that to somebody if the guy across town is going to set up an appointment and go out and look at it, and that's going to take him a few days, then it's going to take him another 24 hours to get a quote. Give her some ammunition. Just make sure your ammunition is good enough to make a kill shot. And go from there, and then build upon that. Because once somebody does sales and they're confident in selling that basic entry item, then you can go, okay, here's how you sell 90, with no knee wall. Here's the basic price on it. Here's your ammunition. Get after it and let me know. So yeah, give her some bullets to play with and just see what happens.
Yeah, we built out kind of, and I use it for most of my a couple of my contractors, and kind of built like a price sheet per se, with all the basic, hey, 5-inch or 5 foot opening, and then if in case it is oversized, 70 or whatever, and then I haven't broken it down to like all the different colors. I just kind of give the worst case scenario just to not necessarily price shocking, but just hey, it could be this. So and she's been using that quite a bit. I'm hoping that's not scaring a lot of people, but I need to kind of dial it in a little bit better for her. But yeah, we're starting to go in that direction. But
that's good.
Yeah, and Rome wasn't built in a day, man. It's like you don't have to go from here to there. There's a process to get there, right? And Cameron, man, you're on your way, dude. It's like, I don't know if you looked at that file that Cameron posted, but he just did this switchable glass shower. That's like really big, and that's what that little video is that he posted in the chat. You should take a look at that, man. That's beautiful. That right there should give you so much confidence.
Oh yeah, it was definitely one of the most stressful freaking installs.
Yeah, but I mean that brings you to another level, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was so cool. I mean, it was a very tough process just finding, a good enough or one that I guess I felt confident enough supplier to give us, the glass. But yeah, it was definitely a learning curve. We got them, ended up going through Smart Glass Ontario, and there's one that it was between the two, and I wish I would have went the other direction just because I was sold on the time frame, and they went way over what they said because it was oh yeah, production is going to be like 3 to 4 weeks, and I didn't, and then a week and a half for shipping, and everybody else was literally 8 to 10 weeks that it was. And so I was like, the client ended up wanting to go that direction. I gave him the options, and it ended up being like close to that 10-week mark anyways, with the holidays and all that stuff. But yeah, it was cool, man. It was a big ass shower. It was, I think it was like 6 foot by 6 foot with at about 108 inches tall. So it was a monster, and they palletized it and everything. And so just getting it off the truck was a chore.
Yeah.
I swear, man, as soon as so we met with the electricians on site that morning. They had already kind of ran some pre-wires for it. And yeah, we just worked side by side with them, did a couple things. They wired it, and then we set the glass. And as soon as that guy hit, got everything wired up and hit that switch, it was just like, Finally breathe. But it was cool. Yeah, it's all they've got a switch on the wall next to the light, and they also have a little remote. And yeah, it was really cool.
Awesome. Kudos, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would take a minute to just really reflect on that and really just kind of revel in that victory, man, and just remind yourself, dude, I think that takes you kind of to another level, man, and should inspire a lot of confidence to just like really go for it, man, and really like set yourself apart, make that your brand, man. It's like, yeah, we do this stuff that other people, are scared of,
Mhm.
and we're
Yeah.
scared of it, but we won't tell you that. No, but
Yeah. Yeah.
we're scared, but we'll do it, The
Yeah.
other guys are scared and won't do it. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. I think that's really killer.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it was cool.
Yeah. Dude, that's yeah, it's a great group, man. There's just we're really fortunate to to have some brothers, man, in the cause, of glazing, and people who are really sincerely willing to offer help, and talk to you about, coach you through some things, stuff like that. I've learned so much since I've been in the group, and yeah, man, it just it never stops. It just goes on and on. What else? What else, man? Have we covered it all? Anybody else want to talk about systems, competition?
One thing I just wanted to point out that what I kind of heard from Billy and Ryan was that when both of you guys are talking about what you do with your deposits and getting all that stuff, you sound very confident and competent in your systems and processes. So I would imagine portraying that to your customers helps you and goes a long way with implementing those systems and processes, like being able to take their money confidently and knowing and portraying that you're going to be able to deliver what you're promising. So I think in making sure that they understand it and can sense it and feel it and pick up on it, it builds trust, which is what they really need. And that's how you can get their money up front, ultimately, because they're not going to give it to you if they don't trust you, if they don't have confidence in you. So, I mean, that's what I was kind of picking up on when you guys, just from the way you guys are talking about it. And,
Billy's fortunate enough to have a pedigree too.
Yeah.
It's got a
Well, that goes with the confidence, and it builds to your confidence level, your competency, and everything, and they pick up on it. So the more you can portray that, the more pricing power you have, the more the more controlling of the situation you have. Everything
Leverage, right?
Yeah,
leverage.
But if they sense that you're not confident, good luck.
But Daniel, I challenge you, if this year is the year you want to really reflect and make some changes, start tracking how much time you drive around measuring stuff and quoting it.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well,
track
yeah.
how many leads you close, and then track how many things you go measure. Just do it for a week or even a month,
Yeah.
and then think about how much time you're actually burning into this stuff. It'll make you think about it.
I think the majority of the stuff we do, honestly, is contractors and builders. We don't really get a lot of call-in stuff. I mean, we get some, but it is over the phone, and it's, hey, how much for a piece of cabinet glass and things like that. But there's a few call-ins that we go out and quote, but most of our stuff is repeat business. Like it's all contractors, and they just send us the address or call us and we go. We don't really do too much.
And in most of those situations, you would probably get a set of drawings and you could price off of that anyway. It would be no different than like a set of construction drawings. If you were tendering a storefront, you would price that based off a set of drawings. You don't drive to a blank concrete pad and measure nothing there to go back to the office to price it.
They don't call us until it's they know not to call us until it's ready to measure and template. So like
Right.
we're not going out there unless it's ready to measure, like template and everything. And most of them we don't even send pricing. Majority, I'd say half of them we don't send pricing to. We just tell us to do it because we know what they're doing and what they want. Some of them will want options on there for stuff, but most of them they don't question anything.
Well, you develop those relationships too. And that's the market you're in. You're in that
Yeah,
contractor developer market. And we don't do a whole lot of retail too. It's just the retail that comes in. We've
yeah,
really pigeonholed them into that lane, and they have guardrails to follow. That this is the process that you have to do to get that price. We'll get it to you quick, but this is the procedure that you need to do. If you're looking
yeah.
for someone to come out there and hold your hand and talk to you about the weather for an hour or have tea with you,
Mhm.
it's not me.
Yeah. We do need definitely the challenge to track stuff though. Yes, we definitely need to do that on a lot of aspects, you know, especially because we just invested money into some SEO stuff and we can tell it's picking up nicely, you know, but what's what, you know?
Well, as you grow, you need to know where to keep dumping that money specifically so you know where you get the best
Yeah.
ROI. And I'm terrible for it. I can preach all I want, but I'm the
Hmm.
biggest mess at times. So I know like every once in a while you gotta like think back, slow down, write, or take notes. Use your phone. You have a notes app on it. Take notes,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and just go back because it makes
Today
you
I Today my dad got a phone call and I was standing there and while he was listening to while he was on the phone call and he's not really good. He doesn't like doing this kind of stuff, but I wrote on a sticky note and I put on there I said ask how they found out about us, you know. And at the end of the call, he asked them, and you know, it was fun. Then they said they did an AI search, and then we were second to come up on the AI search whenever they did a Chat GBT search. So
see, there you go. Now you know it's worth maybe
yeah,
investing more money into that engine,
oh,
right?
dude, we got a good one from it. So
There you go.
it's about 21 times return on the what we put out for it. So
You
it'll
don't know
it,
unless you ask. The data
yeah.
is where the money's at.
Well, we asked. We just don't like write it down and track it somewhere. You know, we just like, okay, that one was this and that was that. You know, we don't really
Or you
write it down
build your
or log
system.
it.
Build your
Mm.
system so that it tracks it for you. You don't have to use
You're
manual
cringing, aren't you? You're
source.
just cringing over there in your
Mhm.
chair.
I'm just cringing
See
every
'em.
time. So like we're spending money and we don't know how to track it in the ROI, but it feels like we're getting busier. So I'm gonna go spend more money towards that direction. And there's where something that might actually deserve attention and money and energy from you isn't getting it because you're tracking, your feelings are telling you what is happening, not your data. Because sometimes it's backfires to where you're with an agency longer than you should be. You pay them, you get a busy season, and someone else is referring the hell out of you. You think this new agency you hired is doing great. They're actually trashing your stats, but it feels like you're getting busier, and that's the one of the biggest problems that could happen to you to yourself. Sorry, I see I'm lagging here, but yeah, build any kind of system you can to start tracking and answering those questions. If you know you have that question and don't know the answer, I beg y'all to figure it out. Have a call with me if you want to see options to do that or in the systems you might already have because it could exist there.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, Rob. So you hear people talk about follow up. That's Rob. That's the guy. He is the guy behind follow up. So if you're hearing about that app, Rob is the guy. And it's an amazing tool, man. If you haven't checked it out, I would really recommend it. It's just incredible, a way to track all the stuff that we're talking about, all the stuff about selling. I know that Billy uses it to sell. It's amazing, man. I mean, you can just get back to people really quick, stop them from falling off the map, and
We just customized the entire journey. Me living in a glass shop, being a glass guy, being best friends with it, a kid in the shop, loving the actual owner, and then coming back to see how they were still in their outdated process. There's a different energy that went to me trying to fix and help. And the years that I spent helping them, and then the years I spent helping other ones, just not, I didn't build this system, but I learned to build on top of it and customize it for each glass company or other business I work with, where I'm like, oh, this is the sweet sauce of my life. I can guarantee that I can work from home if my service is supporting y'all doing the last thing you want to do, which is implementing this tech crap, training your team on how to use it, and making sure they're following the process that you heard you needed to do, you paid some coach to tell you to do, and now you want to implement, and there's a gap between how much is on their plate and how much they have time to learn this new stuff. That's why Billy's approach was foreign to me at the time, years ago. He had hired someone that didn't know anything, like he said, brought him in, and then, but they had nothing but time. There was nothing on their plate. They weren't too busy with something already. They just had time to learn, what does Billy want to have me to do in this app? How do I manage the customers? How do I make it manageable for me to learn as I put people through? Okay, now how do I teach others to do it their way and customize it for this guy who only wants to do it over email, or this guy who prefers his alerts to be over text, or this guy who doesn't want any notifications from the system. He's already annoyed. So being able to customize.
Oh,
The audio went, Robert.
I think you might have muted yourself or something. I don't think so.
Oh, sorry, yeah. But they were able to learn it, adopt it, and without stuff on their plate, which I understand is a lot easier than what most of us have to do, which is introduce this stuff to our people who are already behind and on fire. That's the whole reason why you're getting it. So it's like it's a hard conundrum of how do you put more on their plate, but then reduce the work that that. So I try to help bridge that gap in any way I can. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on.
Yep. Well, I see that I'm in the waiting room, Rob. So don't let me in.
Yes, I saw. We had a lot of hackers try to come in.
That's crazy. Or maybe we should and just see what happens. Maybe it'll open like
No, we had
a
some
wormhole
hackers
or
try to come
something.
in, so I've been blocking it.
Right on. Hey, good talk, man. That was great. Billy Britt, thanks for joining us, man. It's
Nice
always
to
good
see
to
you,
see you,
Billy.
brother. And keep up the good work, guys. We'll see you next Thursday.